Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming. We are going to be making some vintage insect dictionary prints. You could also do botanicals. Anyways, I'm going to show you how you can use just some simple things to put this project together, and I think you're going to really like it. So, as you're hopping on, say hello. I would love to know that I'm not just standing in my craft room talking to my phone. Tell me where you're watching from. Feel free to ask questions, sprinkle, all that business. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a frame. And you guys, these could be, they could be 8 by 11, 9 by 12. It could be something you have hanging out. Like I had a pair of these cruddy, I mean, I've had these for a million years, black frames hanging out. They used to have family photos of my kids when they were little in them. And so I'm using what I have, but you can use whatever you have. This project looks good with sort of that blonde colored wood as well. And if your frame is simpler, that's better. But you know, I'm using what I had, okay? So you need a frame with glass. And then you're gonna need some type of book pages. And I have a couple different dictionaries. This one is newer. This one was my Memo's. But I'm going to use this newer one. I picked it up at Goodwill for just a couple of dollars. I like this one for this project because the paper is whiter. So what we want to do is we want to find a page that doesn't have a lot of you know, crazy illustrations like this trumpet and the bed. So I'm going to choose this one right here. And then, let me just see. Okay, we're going to use this one right here. I'm just going to use one of these. This is a Fiskars. You could use scissors too, but you need this piece of paper to fit the inside of your glass on your frame. So I'm trying to cut it way down into the margin. Okay, and here is our piece of paper. Okay, so if you don't have access to dictionary pages, you could use a piece of scrapbook paper. You can get some scrapbook paper that looks like vintage letters and that kind of thing. So that's an option too. Okay, now I'm gonna take my little frame apart here. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is such a cute project. And it comes together super quick. And what I think this idea is going to start you thinking about all the zillions of different projects that you could do. I know it started me thinking about it too. Okay, so I'm just laying my glass over the top of my, where's my pen? Over the top of my piece of vintage dictionary paper, and I'm tracing it so I know where to cut it. So we're going to be doing a bee today, and it's super cute. I'm going to show you some other projects that I have with this same bee. But you could do any kind of an animal and also any kind of flowers, and it would be awesome. And I'm going to show you how you can paint them, which is totally optional. If you just want the black and white look, you can do that too. You don't have to paint the inside of it, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So, and you can do this in any size as well. It doesn't have to be 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12. It could be smaller. It doesn't have to be a rectangle. It can, I mean, seriously, be whatever you want. Okay, so here's our page. We're not going to do anything on that. What we're going to be working on is our glass. Okay, and I need some paper towels. And before I came live, I did use some Windex and I cleaned the front and back of my glass off. But I've been touching it, so I'm gonna just wipe off any little fingerprints that might be still hanging out. Okay, so we're gonna use this stencil right here from magnoliadiy.com. Probably lots of you guys have this already because I use it a lot. Obviously, look how terrible my stencil looks, which is proof that I love this. Anyways, it has this gorgeous like laurel wreath on it with a pretty bow. There's a bee and there's a crown. So there's a lot of different things that you could do with this. Let me show you a couple things that I have done. This was a project I made last year, and it's a 3-dimensional stuffy on a big quilting hoop. Okay, that was one thing. And then just recently, we did this and we did something else, but I can't remember what it was. And I showed you how to use a palette knife. This is just gold chalk paste, and this is a black canvas. And that's that bee, which look how detailed it is. It's an awesome bee. Okay, so on the first one I did it off center because my bee is a little too wide for the full thing, so I want it to look like I meant to do that. And I did the crown, and I think I'm just gonna do the bee on this one, but I'll show you the other one in just a second. So this stencil has been used so many times, seriously, that I do not need to fuzz it, but I want to give you a very good warning. These stencils from Magnolia DIY are super sticky, super. And so you're gonna need to really fuzz your stencil before you use it, especially on glass, because it will adhere to that and you're gonna have a hard time pulling it up unless you fuzz it really well. So you could fuzz it on like a sweater, a pair of jeans, on a low lint towel. You can fuzz it on the little tacky towel that magnoliadiy.com has. There's lots of options. Okay, so I am going to figure out where do I want my bee to be. And then I need to get it relatively straight. Okay, and on this one, I'm not going to do the crown. All right, I'm just pushing my stencil down on the glass. Feel a little something right here. And I'm going to be using black chalk paste. Whoops. Here we go. So here's one thing to know about this project. You can wash it off if you don't like it, if you make a mistake, or if you want to do something different in a few months. You don't have to keep it forever, but it will dry hard and stable. So there's absolutely no need to spray it to make it permanent, because it is going to be permanent until you either get it wet, put it in the sink, spray it with some water, use a wet wipe on it. It's stable and hard. This chalk paste dries hard. So I get a ton of questions about sealing on glass, sealing glass projects and mirrors to make chalk paste permanent. But the thing is, if you use a spray sealer on it, I'm afraid it's gonna make your glass look cloudy. So for that reason, I don't recommend it. Okay, so I'm going to just do the bee all the way out to the edge of this bee's wings. And when I was doing my first one, my practice, I did make a little goof, which I just wiped off, because when you're working on glass, that's easy to do. So you're going to be surprised how quick this comes together. Okay, I've got my whole bee covered, and now I'm just picking up the big globs, making sure I have my little bees legs all the way to the end. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's awesome. Oh my gosh. So I did my bee off center because, like I said before, the span of its wings was too wide to fit on the whole entire piece of glass. You could also write something at the top. You could use another stencil that has some words or something that you might like. Here, let me hold it up with the paper towel behind it, and then you'll be able to see better. Isn't that awesome? Okay, and now we're going to dry it just a little bit, and then we're going to flip it over and we're going to paint on the underneath. Super cool. But like I said, if you don't like that look, you don't have to do that. Yeah, it could go sideways, but here's the problem with that. That's a good point. My paper will be going the opposite direction that's behind it, and I think that would look funny to have my bee on a piece of paper, a dictionary page with the writing going, you know, sideways and not up and down. So that's why I didn't do it that way. But with a flower or something, and MagnoliaDIY.com has lots of great flower stencils. You could do it right smack in the center. And then you can totally go to town with the colors that you choose to paint it. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit for just a second because I'm going to have to flip it over. So let's talk about the one that I did before I came live. I'm sorry about my ring light. There we go. Wow. Okay. So I did the whole stencil sort of off to the side, and I painted the bee's body with a yellow colored chalk paste. The black for the bee is on the top. You can see it's stable and hard. It's not going anywhere. Absolutely no need to spray it. Just don't clean your glass with Windex and a paper towel. You know, if it gets dusty, use a dry paper towel to kind of wipe it off. The yellow part is on the back side of it. Nothing at all is on the paper. Isn't that cool though? We are a little pressed for time today here at home, but I'm going to do this project again in the near future, and we're going to do some botanicals. So, and also, you know, we might do some of the seashells because I love that look as well. So, have I tried the stencil right on the paper? Yep. But for this project, we're doing it on the glass, the front and the back. Could you flip the glass so the bee is on the inside? Yes, you sure could. That's totally a possibility, but I want to paint on this. And so it needs to be, the black chalk paste needs to be one side, and then on the other side is where we're going to paint. Let me make sure he's completely dry before I flip him over. Yeah, he's dry. Okay, so we're going to take our glass. Isn't that cool? You can totally see my ring light when I hold this up. Okay, and I'm going to flip it over. So we're working on the back of it. And earlier when I was playing with this first one, this was my first pass. You guys, I don't just sit down and start crafting. my goal really with this page, DIY Dreaming, is to teach you how to do something, to give you inspiration, give you the pros and cons, what to do, what not to do, all that kind of stuff, so you feel like you can do it. So I don't ever just sit down and say, let's see what happens. I always do at least 1 or 2 passes of whatever the craft is before I show it to you so I can figure everything out. So this was the first one that I did, and reflecting back on it, I probably would have pulled the bee down a little bit further because there's a beautiful little cross on the top of this crown and it got cut off. So that's one thing to think about. Also, I probably would have not used such a dark yellow, but that's how you learn. And I can just come back and take this glass out, flip it over, and just use a piece of paper towel and some Windex and wipe that side off, the yellow, and I can totally start over. Shoot, I can do that with the front too if I want. So I used this color right here for that one. It's called Daffodil. We are going to try using glittering gold for this pass. We'll see how that works. I think it's fun to just try different things. Okay, I'm gonna get a brush, like a paintbrush. This is a cruddy looking paintbrush, but it doesn't matter. And we're gonna work on a paper towel because we are not fancy here. And I'm just gonna take a little blob of the gold chalk paste, and then I'm using some water. I'm just gonna dilute it just a smidge. Those are technical terms, smidge. Okay, so this is what it's kind of looking like. And we're just gonna try it. I'm going to paint it on the area where his body is. And I'm also going to do a little bit, it's going to be pretty subtle, his or her. This is a queen bee, I'm sorry. I keep saying his. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm going to put some of this also underneath her wings. Just a little bit. But this time is going to be more subtle and not so ba-bing like the first yellow. If I was doing the crown, I could also do it in gold. But I just opted, just for variety, not to put it on this one. And one thing you can do, just think a little bit more, is you can paint a layer and let it dry and look at it and see what you think. And then you can paint over the top of that to make it deeper or darker. Okay, let's see. How does this look? Ooh, I like this one better. Okay, let's dry it for a minute. Make sure I'm on the right side, yeah. Oh, thank you, Nancy. You know what? I love crafting. Currently, I have the best job ever right now, doing crafts here online, meeting people from all over the world, talking virtually to you guys, showing you how to do things that I love. It's just, this is awesome. I love it. So I'm glad you guys are liking these projects too. I'm really trying to keep the variety going so you guys don't get bored and think, oh, well, she only ever does stuffies. She does stuffies every day, or all she ever does is carrots. You know, I really do try to mix things up so you don't get bored. Friends across the world, that's right. Oh, you're so nice, Betty. I love this project too, and I'm definitely, why is it off center? Because the bee's wings are too wide. So just for the design of it, I think that rather than have the edge of the bee's wings go off both sides, it's better to scooch it over just a little bit, and I have it lower. This is just a like an artistic composition thing, but depending on what stencil you use and what size your glass is, you may not need to do that at all. It's just totally preference, okay? And as soon as, well, maybe next week, we'll have to see. We'll do this again, but we'll do it with botanicals, okay? We'll do something to make it really different and fun. So I do need this side to be completely dry before I can put it back together. So let me just give it a little bit more from my heat gun. I think it's good enough. All right, so here's our bee. Can you see how subtle that gold is? Oh my gosh, I like it a lot better than the bright yellow. But this is how you learn what you like, is by doing things, by trying different things. So if I were you and you had the bee stencil or you were thinking about getting it, I would get the black chalk paste and the glittering gold chalk paste. I think these two are better, and you could do the crown as well. Okay, so here's my frame, and if you missed the beginning of this video, if you missed the beginning of the video, we're not stenciling on the paper, we're stenciling on both sides of the glass, okay? On this side is the bee. On the back side is the gold. I'm going to put it with the bee facing out, and the gold is on the inside. And then I'm going to lay in my paper, which is just a piece of a Britannica Webster dictionary and reference guide that I picked up at Goodwill. And then I'm putting my cruddy frame. Like I said, I used what I had for this project. So when we do this again, I'll see what kind of better quality frames and better stylistic frames I can find that are going to be budget friendly, and I'll give you all that information. Okay, so here's the reveal. What do you think? I love it. Oh my gosh, I totally love it. Okay, let me get the other one and just show you the comparison. I do think that I would like to have the crown on this one, so I can come back and add that. But what do you guys think? Do you like the bright yellow, or do you like the more subtle gold? Let me turn off my ring light, and I'll hold these up close for you. Might get just a teeny bit darker in here, but okay, here's well, you can see my other lights. Sorry. Some things with technology, there's just nothing I can do about. So here's the first one with the yellow, and this chalk paste was called Daffodil. Nothing wrong with it, nothing at all. I just happen to like this one better. This one is with the glittering gold. So I want to know what you guys think. Which one do you like better? Do you like the glittering gold or do you like the daffodil? And is this something that you would, like to have in your home? And tell me, do you want to do this same idea again? We'll mix it up a little bit, but with flowers, with botanicals. I think I definitely want to do that. So tell me what you think. I see lots of you guys are saying the gold. You like the gold better than the yellow. You could put Be Kind on top. Exactly. I was saying earlier that we could put another stencil right here that said something. You know, it could be any one. It could even be a Bible verse. It could be totally what you want. Or I could have done the crown. And when we do the flowers, we'll really mix it up. We'll use a variety of colors. So I hope you guys liked this craft. I will get pictures that I'll put here in these comments, and I will also put them on DIY Dreaming. If you liked this, please consider sprinkling. I would be so appreciative if you would do that. The yellow really grabs your eye. I mean, I agree totally. When we do the flowers, the botanicals, we'll probably do a variety of really bright, like this, and also more subtle flowers, just to compare so that you guys can decide what you like. And yeah, that's one of my goals here, is to help you figure out what you like before you even try it. Thank you so much for all the stars and all your sweet comments. And if you want to see Christ and Crafting tomorrow, or what I have coming up next week, do this. That's a thumb. Or this. Or say something to me in the comments. It could even be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It could be total nonsense, or it could be a real question. Or you could ask me for the links, and I'd be glad to get that for you. And then check to see if you've liked and followed DIY Dreaming. And all those things in combination make it a little bit more likely that Facebook will actually show you what I have coming up here. And I would love to have you join me tomorrow for Christ and Crafting. Alrighty. Yeah, okay, so Donna says she likes the gold, but she would probably do another coat. Yes, and you know what? I absolutely can. I can just take both of these apart, and I could start over, change anything, because we haven't messed up the paper, and we can just use Windex and a paper towel on the glass. So easy, easy, easy peasy. Alrighty, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. I hope to see you here back at DIY Dreaming on Sunday for Christ and Crafting. And then I hope to see you next week for lots of different projects. I'm going to always be mixing things up, but they're going to generally be faith, family, or flowers most of the time. They're going to be quick and easy. They're going to be a little unusual. They're going to be affordable. I mean, I'm always encouraging you to use what you have. And you don't have to be an artist or an expert crafter or have any serious tools or anything to do the kind of projects that I have to do here. So have a blessed rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.